Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, it's time to do the rear shocks now. If you haven't already looked at it, go check out. I have one for the front shocks. I have one for this little guy here, if you're wondering what that is. It's an axle shaft dampener. I have a video on that. Now it's time to do the rears, and you might notice that tire back there and this hanging down. That is the spare tire. First thing you're going to want to do is pull that thing out. This side, not so bad, I don't think. That other side looks like it's going to be a real bear to get to, but we'll deal with that after we get this. First, sprayed it with the PB Blaster. Yet again, not a sponsor, so spray it with whatever you want and let it sit for a while. And over there on my impact is a 15 millimeter, and yes, I don't know, for you eagle-eyed guys and gals, I shouldn't be using a chrome socket with an impact, but I don't have a 15 millimeter that'll work with my impact right now, so I'm making do, and these aren't that bad, so I'm not too worried about it. And over here we have an 18 millimeter wrench on this side, so 15 millimeter and an 18 millimeter so far to get the lower nut and bolt. Now I'm going to follow it up, go to the top. It's kind of on this cross brace up here, and it looks to be 13 millimeter. More leverage. That's actually not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to go up, and there's one here and there's one up on the other side. You can kind of see right here and right here where these nubs go up through. They're captured on this side, and then they just got a nut on the other side. Just like the front, I'm putting the Rancho RS 5000. I know it says 7000 there. They get you on the box there. Don't get too excited if you open it up. It says RS 9000 or 7000. You're getting the 5000s. That's just the box they put it in. Something I liked about this one was they didn't put the sticker on, unlike the front one. They gave you the option to put the sticker on, which I'm not going to do. I mean, they got their name stamped in here. It's all good. Comes with the package of what appears to probably just be the upper nuts and bolts that you'll get to stick in these holes here. The red cover that goes over the top of all this, and the piece, the wire tie to zip tie that on there. 5 minutes trying to put this on here because it needs to be right here, and then this little thing goes right around this here, this lip here, but it definitely ain't going on. I gotta say, I'm a little bit perturbed with Rancho. Their fit and finish is not great. There's slag from welds all over these. I mean, their finish is almost nothing. It's like one coat of white paint everywhere. I mean, they didn't tape anything off. They didn't. And then they send you with this crap, and they don't give you any instructions. Not even torque specs or anything like that. So, right now, I'm a little bit irritated. I used to be a real big Rancho supporter. Everything I had when I was a teenager had Rancho shocks on. It was one of the first things I did. And as you can see from the front, if you go watch the front shocks for this rig, it's the same story. So, although this went on with no problem, but your upper part didn't have this. So, I may go call Rancho and see what I can do. Next day, I called up Rancho, and basically they said, yeah, it's hard, but it will go on shoving it over here. He said you might lube it up with something, soap and water, or some sort of a silicone lubricant. And I got 2 of these to go. I tell you what, I would have paid a little bit more for them to put this on before they press this in. And from what they said, because I got a press, and I said, well, what if I press this out? Will I do any harm? You know, is it just pressed in there? And he said, actually, they actually fuse it in there, so it's got something fusing it in there, so it will ruin it if you try and press it, according to the guy I just talked to at Rancho. Cow, that is really sharp. This is probably the last set of Rancho shocks I'm gonna buy. I'm a bit perturbed. This is so bad, like my finger sticks to it. That's how sharp that edge is right there. I'm irritated. Alright, they're finally on. Screwdriver is about, I could pry it over with. Luckily it didn't ruin anything as far as the boot or poke anything. I will say this part right here is barely on there now because it's stretched out so much, so hopefully it goes back into shape. And what I put on there was T9 Bow Shield. A couple things. Everybody seems to rave about this product as well. Yet again, not a sponsor. I just kind of test things out. And so far I haven't been able to test this that much. I got just enough out of this can to get these on, and it quit spraying. And it's a brand new can. I mean, brand spanking new. So I used it one time on my trailer jacks, and that's about it. And I'm kind of doing a testing on my trailer jacks with this stuff. But I will be sending this back, or I can't even remember exactly where I got it from, but I've only had it for maybe 3 or 4 months, so it should still be working with no problem. Could be it's kind of cold in here. It's 46 degrees according to my temperature here, so that's the noise. If you're hearing a noise, I got my heat on. But anyhow, they're on. We're going to slap them in, and to be honest, I probably will never buy another set of these unless I maybe spend more money on a more upgraded version of this. But even then, quite honestly, I'll probably go with a little bit cheaper shock. The Monroe shock that I put on there is better quality than what these are, as far as what I could see from that dampener that I put on the back end there. So I may go with Monroe, we'll see. Anyway, these will work for now. Got this on here. I just put it on. You can see where it's a smaller area and then it bumps out. I just kind of go right to where that bump out is. And that's where I put it. That way if this travels up, it doesn't pop it off. Like that. So this needs to go in to here. If it will fit. You gotta be kidding me. This bushing here is pushed out a little bit on this side, and it's that way on both of them. I assume for some reason it needs to be one side or other, but quite honestly, this does not even fit in here. Oh, okay, Rancho, you're pushing my buttons here. Well, I found this washer, which kind of is a little bit concaved, I guess you would say. Yeah, not anymore because I already pressed one of these in. But it's a good size, so I'm not tearing up the edge of it on here, although this is pretty flat. I just don't want to take any chances. So I'm sticking that in there, in my vise, and yeah, I'm going too far. And we're gonna press it in best we can. Figure out which way it's going in the top here. Bring it that way. Actually, you know what? This turns anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see if that'll. And after pressing these in just a little bit, they're snug fit, but they fit. Just kind of rattle them back and forth. We'll get those in. You know what? I don't know if it matters, but really this was going through this way if I remember correctly, which I might not. So, and yeah, I'm gonna go with that. In fact, I can look at the other side and make sure, yeah, this is the way it goes. The top here, and what they are is these here. This comes with the kit. That bottom bolt you got to reuse, but these come with the kit for the top. 10mm on these, and they go down through the top here. Find the hole again here, and then I'll bring the shock up and just bring it up. Okay, I gotta get in a better position here. There we go. You don't have to force it, it'll get there sooner or later. This definitely has to go in a specific direction here, and there you go. There's the boot already falling off before I even get started, so we may have to figure out a way to attach that a little better. Quite honestly, a lot of people say it just traps moisture and dirt more than it helps keep it out, so some people go without it. But for everyday driving, I think I'm going to stick with the boot if I can. If I notice it's just falling off a ton and it looks like crap anyway, I'll just take it off. Alright, now I got these, and they're a type of lock nut. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually an oval shaped. And although it's a lock nut, yet again, like I did on the front, I'm going to put a little bit of thread locker on these before I put them on, because if they rattle off, this is coming off, so you'll be dragging it behind you. So we'll get those. Now that is a 13mm, or you could use a 1/2 inch. You decide here, so excuse the shaky cam if there is a bunch. I got that off, same as the other side. But here's the problem: you come up here, and to get these off, this thing, if I can get it, is totally in the way. Now, yet again, I'm a firm believer in if it's in the way, move it. But unfortunately, underneath this, I don't know if you can see any of this, there's a bunch of hoses and wires and all kinds of stuff stuck up in there. Now, where I am at now, I'll situate. Alright, so there's that plastic cover that's got all the other stuff on top of it. It is totally in the way of getting to that shock right there, the top of it. But what you can do is right there is where your spare tire hook goes down. Spare tire's out of the way, and there's kind of a hole right here that I can stick my head up through and kind of see pretty good. And hopefully you can see this. I've stuck my head up through over the top of where the spare tire goes, and you can see it pretty good right there. I reached my arm around the other side up here. You can see my hand. Alright, yet again we're handheld here. So here's the shock. I reached up through here, and that's where you saw my hand sticking through, and you can see the wrench right there, and that's how I'm getting that side. Now for the other side, I'm actually sticking myself up through this hole where I had my head through. So on the other side of the spare tire, I hope you can see it, and that's where we're up there, and we can get to the other side. And I got the wrench upside down, in case you can't see that. You get those loosened up with the wrench, and you get them up a little ways, you can actually get to both of them from the side where the spare tire hole is with the ratchet here. I was able to get the end of that one off, and I've been able to kind of reach this one too. So go ahead and try it if it works for you. And this is where the shock used to be. Now I'm not going to show you me put the new one in and put the bolts in and all that. You're going to do that exactly the same as you took the old one off, and it's exactly the same as the other side as far as the size and things of wrenches. So I'm not going to try and film all that. We'll get it in and we'll be done with this. Both rear shocks are in. We're all done with it. Except for that shock on that side, everything is pretty darn easy, and really that's not horrible. It's just a matter of contortioning yourself to get it to go right. But anyhow, I think we are all done. This is Sam, Jack of all, master of none. You all have a good one.